Hi, this is Juan from Boynton Pro Audio in the Music Square, and today we're checking out the very cool little JDX Direct Drive from Radial. This is sort of a continuation of their regular JDX unit, and this one has a couple of extra features that are super cool. What this basically does is it replaces your guitar amp in situations where you might not be able to bring your favorite amp. If you're playing where you can't be really loud on stage, or maybe you have to travel, a lot of airlines are cracking down on how much weight you can actually bring, so a lot of musicians are having to come up with other options. And this is a really great unit, and it's super affordable compared to a lot of the other units that are out that kind of do similar things. So what does this really do, and does it actually sound good? I think that's the question that people want to know. And the answer for me is yes. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I didn't really know what to expect when I first plugged this in, but everything you heard in the track at the opening of this video and what you're going to hear in a minute or two is going to be using the JDX Direct Drive as a pedal platform. And that's sort of the idea with this. What you can do is you can use your favorite pedals in front of this like you would your guitar amp. And you've got some cool routing options that you can do to kind of incorporate this into your rig. It has an input, it has an output, it has a through out, and it has a tuner out and a balanced out for using an XLR cable. So what does all that mean? Well, what you can do for a consistent sound is you could have this on your pedal board kind of at the end of your chain, and using the through option you could have this go straight to the board and still use your own amplifier to monitor yourself. And at the same time you could use this in, as a replacement for your actual amplifier, which is pretty cool. This also works pretty well for home recording. I mean, we just heard that in the clip, and I was actually pretty surprised. So what I was using in that clip was an Avid 11 rack with the cabinet portion turned off, and was using sort of the preamp and some pedals in front of that for the tone, because I wanted to kind of do that as well, because there are a lot of pedal manufacturers now that are coming out with drive pedals that are kind of acting as preamps too. Some of them even have dual channels on them, so I wanted to be able to check that out in the clip. And then in a minute we're going to check out clips where they're just straight ahead stomp boxes in front of this, and this acts as the amp. So let's go through some of the features of this. It has our traditional JDX sound that is basically just a 412 cab with a Shure SM57 on it, and that sounds pretty good. But the two new features I thought sounded way better than the regular JDX sound. It has a combo option, which is kind of like a Fender Tweed sort of sound, and for each of this one and the next sound, it has a bright switch and a normal switch. And what I found is with the bright switch engaged, it really sounded very amp-like. At the same time, if you've got some drive pedals that you maybe wouldn't do well with a bright switch on an amplifier, or kind of need that top end pulled down, you can just flip it to the normal position and that sounds great. For the clip that you heard, I was using the stack mode, which is basically what they call like a Marshall JCM sort of head. They didn't really get into the specifics there, through a 412 cabinet, and I had the bright mode engaged, again, to get a little more kind of clarity and a little bit more of that typical Celestion bite that you get out of the top end. So that's the voicing for the presence controls. For the balanced out, we've got a polarity switch and a ground lift, which are super handy. And all in all, this thing sounds really great. I'm not even gonna kind of run my mouth for too long about this. What I really enjoy about this is it's just a plug it in and go unit. There are a lot of other sort of modeling units and speaker simulators and all sorts of stuff where you have to get a comfortable chair and sit down and spend a ton of time with the instruction manual. This is not the case at all. You have pedals that you like, you have a guitar that you like, plug it into this and it just works. So let's check out some other clips with just some stomp boxes and other units in there. I'm going to go through all of the different modes of the JDX Direct Drive, and I hope you dig it. Okay, thanks.